Good morning. Welcome to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. Sheriff, a great show we have on tap today, and I like to call him one of the shining stars of my unit. Captain Jimmy Goodman is going to be on today.
Anytime Jimmy's on your show, you've got a great show. Jimmy is probably one of the persons that's most entertaining and, quite honestly, most knowledgeable in the Leon County Sheriff's Office in terms of what we do and how we do it. So you guys are ready for a treat here. With I tell you what he's going to talk about is how we can keep our community safe, and Jimmy does a great job of that. And please stay tuned, because he's going to do a great job of explaining what we do and how we do it.
Yeah, we're talking about our crime prevention efforts today on the show, and one big component of that is the neighborhood crime watch. You know, somewhere down the road, the nosy neighbor concept got a bad rap. We want nosy neighbors, right?
Absolutely. In fact, I talk all the time about when America was struck 9/11 with the terrorist attack. One of the things we talked about ad nauseum was trying to make sure that if you see something, say something. And that's about all of us working together to keep our community safe. So there's no nosy neighbor. There's all of us pitching in and seeing something that looks out of order, looks out of place. Call the police, call the sheriff's office, and we'll respond. And hopefully there's nothing to it. At the end of the day, we'd much rather be nothing to it. But please call. We need the information.
Right, and you know, we want to stress the importance of calling law enforcement. You don't want to take matters into your own hands, but we want your eyes and ears out there.
Absolutely, yeah, please, in today's times, you never know who you're going to run into out there. Sometimes it's kids playing pranks. They get this little thing, they go knock on your door and run. Or it could be somebody trying to break in, but call law enforcement. That's the most important thing we can say to you. See something, say something, and then call law enforcement.
Right, so we're going to talk about that element. We're also going to talk about some of those other aspects. You know, there are a lot of free programs within the sheriff's office that our community can take full advantage of to really fortify their homes, their businesses, and create a network.
Oh, Jimmy's going to talk all about that in terms of the things we do, the neighborhood checks that they can be engaged in, the neighborhood meetings that he puts on, and how tremendous those meetings are. And it's just all about trying to build community. That's the thing we talk about all the time. Is we have this affirmation called All In, and that's all about how we build community and how we build respect for what we do and respect for citizens out there. And we also say this all the time too, Shonda, the citizens are the police and the police are the citizens. We're one and the same.
We're one and the same indeed, and we're going to dig into that today. I'm telling you more about some of those programs that you can take full advantage of. So be sure to stick around. Coming up, our crime prevention unit is talking about some of those programs free of charge to help keep you safe. Stay with us.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Crime Prevention Specialist Brandon Ortiz with the Leon County Sheriff's Office with your Safety Tip Tuesday.
Cyber attacks are scary, and it's not just a major issue for big businesses. We are seeing a rise in cases right here in Leon County. Anyone with an email address, online bank account, or any other connection to the internet can be vulnerable to virtual villains with bad intentions. Here are some ways to help prevent you or someone you know from being a target. Start by taking a look at all your passwords. While using easy to recall names, dates, and numbers may be convenient, it opens you up to cyber thieves who can crack the code. With the onslaught of social media pervading our lives, avoid personalizing passwords. Consider a password management tool to keep track of multiple unique passwords and let it do the work for you. Research which one may be right for you. Remember, repetition can be good for some things in life, but not for passwords. Don't use the same password for multiple websites or accounts. If someone figures it out, they'll have access to all the other places you've used that password. Finally, cyber attacks can be more than someone having nothing better to do. It can be a crime, holding you or anyone else's information hostage, or worse. Report any unusual online activity to the proper authorities.
And that's your Safety Tip Tuesday. Have a great week.
Start your new career as a corrections officer at one of the state's most innovative agencies, the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
You get a lot of support, a lot of opportunities to train, to move up.
Work with state-of-the-art technology.
Every day is something different.
Starting pay is $46,000 a year with amazing benefits.
You're not working as much overtime here. You're not as stressed out.
A better work-life balance with more time off.
It's very rewarding.
Join the family. Apply today at leoncountyeso.com.
Joining me now is Captain Jimmy Goodman with our Crime Prevention Unit. Jimmy, you have a long history with the Leon County Sheriff's Office. Tell us about your history and all the things you've been engaged in.
I have had an awesome ride. I can tell you that, Sheriff. I'm just going to need you to stick around for at least a few more years. I've been with our agency for 32 years, and I've been able to go and do everything from canine to traffic to patrol. School resource was one of my favorite things because of the teaching component. And now that I'm in crime prevention, it's just a great extension of that. I get to go out every day and teach the community not only how to be safe, but also to safeguard their properties and their workplaces. So I'm really excited about what I get to
Jimmy,
do.
you're in charge of our reserve program as well, right?
I am.
Talk to us about how does that work?
So reserves there's kind of a couple different ways. We get brand new babies out of the academy and they have no experience. So how do you get a job with no experience? Because the academy is just, basically a 9th grade education in law enforcement. So we get them in, we will utilize them as reserves. They go out, they have the same arrest powers, they have all of the same training, everything that we're doing, but we learn to see if they're a good fit for our agency, as well as if law enforcement is a career that they have chosen wisely. There's a lot of things that people don't get right. So then we also have the ones that have had full-time careers and that still have the urge to give. And then we have what I call career reservists. Those are the doctors, the nurses, the teachers that are in our community, firemen, firewomen, that also have this other yearning and want to serve. So they do this as a part-time to force multiply and support our patrol and all of our other details.
Now you described some of those people, but how can they join the unit? And what do they do to sign up?
So they would have to attend the academy. We don't sponsor people for the reserves. We do certainly on our full-time hires. But what we have found is so many people want to do this and kind of dabble in it a little bit, and then they're bitten by the bug. And the next thing you know, we've got them full-time. Certainly with the stellar crew that I'm working with, ladies and gentlemen, it's an easy ground to pick from, and y'all have done that quite often. So.
Well, Jimmy, your primary role, though, is as our crime prevention practitioner. Tell our audience a lot about what you do. What exactly is a crime prevention practitioner?
So I go out and I look through the lens of a bad guy. I want to look at your home or your business and find out where is the attraction for someone that wants to do something bad. And what we try to give the public is safeguarding your properties and your homes or your businesses. Don't mean it has to be ugly. Yeah. You can do things that, whether it's lighting, whether it's landscaping, we have and suggest, we call it hostile vegetation. That's those thorny things that you put in place of some, in a corner or whatever where you don't want people to stand. Those can be by design roses. They're beautiful, right? So we go in and we just take a wholesale look over your home or your business and provide you with suggestions. They're not mandates, but we make those suggestions with the intellect that these things could benefit you.
Now you guys do something else. You particularly do the residential surveys. Now how can a citizen get a survey done by you?
All they have to do is they can email me at goodmanj at leoncountyfl.gov. It'll come directly to me. I do want to tell you what we also do. If you've been a victim of a crime, I made contact with a family here recently that had a burglary while the homeowner was home, and a very scary situation. So it came out a few days later after some of the dust settled, and that preventive medicine is always great. But if you find yourself that you have had something happen to you and you would like us to come out and take a look at how we can better protect you, that would be great. Just call me.
Well, Jimmy, I tell you what, I started talking earlier about the great job you do. Can't say enough about how much we appreciate what you do. Tremendous job, you and the team, and Shonda Knight and her team. Thank you, really appreciate it.
Still to come, does your Neighborhood Watch program have LCSO's new signs? We'll tell you how to get one up next.
We're back with Jimmy Goodman with our crime prevention unit. Jimmy, you're leading our Neighborhood Watch efforts. Describe what's it about. What's a neighborhood program about?
It is a coalition of all of your neighbors literally watching out and watching over each other like what we should do. Law enforcement is just one cog in the wheel. We need people, eyes and ears, and of course reporting for us to safeguard these neighborhoods.
Yeah, I talk about, quite often I mention Al-Qaeda and the cookbook and see something, say something, but talk to us about why are these neighborhood meetings and these watches so important, Jim?
It gets people to know people. So if I'm your neighbor and I care for you, there's concern, and we want to make sure that everyone is safe. And it's getting people out of their silos or their bubbles and putting them back in the rooms. And I come in, as well as you have come in, and sometimes we will give them the latest trends of what's going on, what to watch for, what to do, who to call when you see something. Don't just post it on a platform and call it your duty. It's not going to do us any good if it's 6 hours after the fact. We have the tools, we have the capabilities and the training to deal with things, and we will get them vetted.
One of the things I talk about is in my neighborhood, for example, when somebody moves in, I go, and my wife and I go and knock on the door and introduce ourselves and say, welcome to the neighborhood. That's a way of just identifying and saying, we're all in this together, so to speak. And how can we do more of those? How can we get that?
Well, there are homeowners associations and the Neighborhood Crime Watch. People are reaching out. They're having the old-fashioned kind of block parties, like meet and greets. And I do the same thing. I make it my mission to go along with everybody on my street. One, being in law enforcement, I'm like, you can't miss where I live. That Tahoe's sitting in the driveway. And I want them to let them know that if they do need something, that it's an emergency, please come to me, but also make sure you dial 911. But I want them to understand we are all working together on this street to make sure that we're good.
So how does a neighborhood start a program like that, a neighborhood watch program? How do you get that?
So we'll send them the information. We got a nice packet, and it says basically you've got to have a really, really motivated captain over the entire Neighborhood Crime Watch. And you have to have buy-in from what we call neighborhood block captains. And we basically subdivide like a pizza. We'll cut the neighborhood up, and you'll be a block captain, I'll be a block captain. And what happens, we open the direct line of conversation between us and those neighborhoods, and we send the information to the neighborhood captain. They disseminate it to the block captains, and they get the word out. So say we had one of those pine straw frauds going through neighborhoods. We let people know immediately, hey, this is something to watch for, and if you see it, call us.
Okay. Now, I know that we've got neighborhood watches that have been out there for a long time. In fact, I drove around, I've seen some, and they've just got the sign up. I'd like to get those back in being active. How do we go about doing that, Jimmy?
Slowly but surely, we're getting people, the word of mouth is coming, but what we're trying to do is entice them a little bit. As law enforcement, we all like shiny things, and I'm no exception. So what we're doing is we're wanting to get you back re-engaged, get your neighbors engaged, and we're going to come out and we're going to, in place of that old green sign that is probably looking pretty worn for its age, we're going to replace it with one that is bright, shiny, reflective, and basically it says, not today, bad guy, this one's protected, and it's going to go to the next door neighbors or next neighborhood. So we want people to get these new signs, but you got to.
How do they get them? They got to call you.
You got to call me, man. I want you to come.
Give them your number out there.
It's 850-606-3300. Ask for Jimmy Goodman, or you can email me at goodmanj@leoncountyfl.gov. I do evenings, I do weekends. We will cater to you, come out to you, because this partnership needs to continue to grow so we can combat crime, and it's going to make your property values increase. It's a win-win.
Absolutely. Again, Jimmy, I am so happy you're on this team.
I love what I do. I'm instead of chasing the bad guys, I'm helping the good ones. It makes a lot of difference.
Well, thank you again. Our deputy on duty is coming up. Stay tuned.
In this week's Deputy on Duty, we introduce you to one of the newest deputies at the Leon County Sheriff's Office, Jaron McCray.
Favorite part about my job right now is getting out and speaking to people, speak with our community. And it sounds a little cliche, but it's the honest truth.
Deputy McCray took the deputy's oath early this year in April. His swearing-in ceremony was a moment he's always dreamed of, and his mom, Shalonda, was right by his side, beaming with pride that day. You see, his path to the agency actually started many years before he was old enough to apply. McCray tells us it was his mom who was instrumental in making sure his dreams of becoming a deputy turned into reality after she met a group of students with the Sheriff's Explorers Post. At the time, Jaron was only 14 years old.
My mom actually sent the Explorers out one day, and she knows I want to do this my whole life, so she seen them and she talked to them. They were very welcoming to her, and then she referred me through. I went to my first meeting in August of 2016, and here I am.
LCSO's award-winning Explorers Post is part of a nationwide program that allows youths and young adults the opportunity to explore careers in law enforcement.
The Explorers program is a huge program throughout the whole state of Florida. It pushes you to a limit that you don't know that you could actually go.
The Explorers are trained by sworn law enforcement officers to learn skill sets in various areas that include traffic stops, crime scene, firearms, active shooter, public speaking, leadership training, community service, and so much more, ultimately using what they learn to compete against other Explorer posts at the regional, state, and national levels. These skills also give them a leg up on the competition when applying for openings in the law enforcement field.
The Explorer program made me a better deputy out on the road to assist our community a lot better. We train as much as just a regular deputy would. Anything that's going to help you do the day-to-day job. Traffic stops, a lot of community events.
McCray says working those events through the Explorers program allowed him to gain the necessary people skills needed as a deputy to engage in meaningful and productive interactions with members of the public.
People get out and they see us and they think, oh, big macho cop, police officer, deputy sheriff. And I think people sometimes fail to realize that we're people too. We're wearing a uniform, they see the uniform, they see the car and it's automatically, oh snap, but once this deputy gets out and he's smiling with you and he's talking, and you got to break that barrier down with them know I'm a person too.
McCray hopes his story inspires other youngsters to follow his path and sign up to join the Explorers program today. It is open to anyone between the ages of 14 and 21. Learn more about the program and other opportunities to join the Leon County Sheriff's Office on our website, leoncountyso.com. I'm Angela Green for Leon County Today.
Start your new career as a corrections officer at one of the state's most innovative agencies, the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
You get a lot of support, a lot of opportunities to train, to move up.
Work with state-of-the-art technology.
Every day is something different.
Starting pay is $46,000 a year with amazing benefits.
You're not working as much overtime here. You're not as stressed out.
A better work-life balance with more time off.
It's very rewarding.
Join the family. Apply today at leoncountyso.com.
Welcome back to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. Sheriff, there are a lot of communities out there that still have those old green neighborhood crime watch sign. We want to upgrade you.
Absolutely. If they've got those old ones, that means they're not active currently. So if you got those signs out there and they're old signs and you haven't seen one thing, you haven't met Jimmy Goodman, then you're probably not in our new system. So please get these new signs and call Jimmy. Jimmy Goodman's going to be out there. You got Jimmy's number?
Yes, so 606-3300. You can ask for Jimmy Goodman. You can also go to our website and click on crime prevention and contact us that way as well. So find us, and the signs are free. We will come out, take up your old sign, put your new sign in, and you'll be upgraded. And the sign is great, but the bigger thing is rebuilding that network of neighbors.
That's it. That's what it's all about, folks. It's our trying to connect back with you, so you can connect back with us, and working together, we can keep our community safe.
Right, and so we talked a little bit about Neighborhood Crime Watch today. We talked about, of course, those commercial and residential surveys. Another component that Jimmy wasn't able to get into today is that we also offer free seminars in the community. Anything on how to prevent fraud, what to do in an active attack situation, which we've seen, unfortunately, around our communities. Businesses can call and request those. So a lot of efforts we have going on to really prevent crime in our community.
I'm glad you mentioned those, because one of those that annoys me is this new thing they've got where they knock on your door and run. And Jimmy can come to your community, sit down with the people in that community, and talk about all these initiatives we've got going on. So again, we keep our community safe. That's what it's all about, us all being all in to keep Leon County safe.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about indeed. So we're going to wrap it up for today. We will see you back here next week.